Welcome back to the channel, people. Today let's discuss some pretty interesting-ish rumors about the Apple Watch Series 7. We could be seeing a Touch ID power button, which is pretty exciting, but what's not so exciting is the introduction of mmWave 5G on the Apple Watch. And I only have one question regarding this, and that is, who bloody asked for this feature in a watch? Anyways, we'll get to that eventually, but without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe, click that bell notification for the latest Apple news and rumors, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so both of these features I'm about to discuss are patents that were recently filed by Apple, so there is some credibility to it, but of course, as with any patent, these features might be delayed for, of course, a foreseeable future, and we might see it in future iterations of the Apple Watch instead. But anyways, diving right in, let's talk about the whole 5G situation on the Apple Watch. Right, so we've basically discovered in a new patent that the mmWave 5G tech in the new iPhones has been miniaturized for the Apple Watch. And all I can say regarding this is nobody asked for this. So it's fair to say 5G has become a meme within the tech space, and it makes a lot of sense because 5G right now is incredibly flawed. Right, so you might be aware of the fact that we have two versions of 5G. I have no idea why we have two versions of 5G, but we do. But guess what? Both are pretty much equally as terrible. Because you see, mmWave 5G might be incredibly fast. Apparently it's like 3 trillion times better than 4G in terms of speeds, but it doesn't travel very far, and so a speck of dust could stop the traveling distance of mmWave 5G, and so pretty much you have to stand very, very close to the node to get those super fast, amazing, mind-blowing speeds that we see in the ads. As for sub-6 5G, which is more popular around the world, that's literally only slightly faster than 4G. In fact, in some conditions, 4G is better, and so again, there's no use with 5G, it's clearly very flawed. And so that's my problem with the Apple Watch getting 5G this soon. I understand that eventually 5G, as the tech matures, it'll become the new standard, but clearly right now it's very, very, very problematic. There are so many issues, and so I'm hoping Apple waits till they resolve these issues before implementing it in the Apple Watch. You see, I understood the market pressure behind including it on the iPhone 12 because, of course, 5G is the hype within the smartphone world, and there's actually quite substantial evidence behind a lot of people upgrading to the new iPhones based on 5G for some reason. But anyways, 5G is clearly a huge marketing pull, and so Apple had to include it with the iPhones. But you see, an Apple Watch is a completely different thing because a lot of people don't rely on cellular Apple Watches. I'm assuming the regular GPS models are more popular, and so giving 5G this early just seems like a bad idea. Like seriously, what have we learnt about 5G on this year's iPhones? We've learnt it absolutely eats into your battery life, and the modems are very inefficient. And so imagine how big the problem would be on the Apple Watch, something that has a minuscule battery compared to the iPhone, and so using 5G would pretty much be a pain on the Apple Watch. Now yes, I know a lot of people mention that yes, let's future-proof our Apple Watch for the future and include 5G now, so already when 5G becomes the standard. But you see, I have an issue with that argument, and I have an issue with it with the iPhones too. I don't agree this is future-proofing these devices because the modems in these devices right now, they're very, very inefficient. And so down the line, when battery health is around 86%, imagine the amount of toll 5G would take on the battery life of these phones and these potential watches. And a large majority of why that happens is due to the inefficient Qualcomm modem. The tech is simply premature, and so personally I'm thinking that Apple should wait till they can get their in-house modems in these watches, because of course Apple making their own hardware for their own watches and particularly making their own modems, I think that's going to work out way better than of course Apple including Qualcomm modems, which are notorious for being pretty bad. Now, as far as we know, we should expect the tech by 2022, and so yeah, delaying it by another year, I think that is entirely plausible. I hope that happens. Of course, I think that in the near future we will get 5G on the Apple Watch, unfortunately, but hopefully by then the tech will be better and we'll get to a point where it doesn't take a substantial hit in battery life. Anyways, let's put that to the side and delve into a feature I'm more excited about, and that is Touch ID coming to the Apple Watch. So yet again, we have patents illustrating Touch ID could be enabled in the digital crown. So essentially, when you put your finger on the Apple Watch, it directs some light into that area, and using the light, it figures out the grooves in the finger and matches it with, of course, the image previously recorded on the watch. Now, this just seems perfect. This seems ideal. I think we've all been wanting this feature for a long time on the Apple Watch, and so building it into the digital crown makes a lot of sense. Now, weirdly enough, this isn't the first instance of a Touch ID scanner coming to this Series 7, because back in the early days of 2020, we had a report from the verifier that maybe we could see a Touch ID scanner of sorts on the Series 7 too. Now, weirdly enough, they illustrate two possible scenarios with the Apple Watch Touch ID scanner. They mention one, of course, being very similar to the patent, so a fingerprint scanner built into the digital crown, but they also said that maybe we could see a under-display scanner on the Apple Watch instead. Now, the under-display scanner actually makes a lot of sense because we know the iPhone 13 should have an in-display scanner. It's something that's been pretty much confirmed by a load of sources, and so Apple recycling that tech for the Apple Watch, it just seems very plausible to me. Plus, Apple has ECG features built into the side of the digital crown, and so maybe giving us a capacitive scanner on the side could interrupt with that, and so going for an in-display scan instead might make more sense. Obviously, having a Touch ID scanner on the side of the digital crown would be more convenient, but it's not completely cumbersome to have an in-display scanner instead. But either way, it should be better than the pin we have right now, and that is one of the reasons I got rid of my Apple Watch in the first place. And so if Apple actually brings a Touch ID scanner to the Series 7, with of course the other improvements I've mentioned in other videos, like blood glucose monitoring and of course the new redesign, then yeah, I actually might consider buying the Apple Watch Series 7. But tell me in the comments below, would you buy the Apple Watch Series 7 if it came with a Touch ID scanner? Would that push you or incentivize you to upgrade? Or is it 5G? Do you need 5G on a watch? Is that really the reason you will upgrade? Tell me all about it in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click that bell notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out a video here in the icon above about the iPad Pro coming out very, very soon and some pretty interesting upgrades. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.